What's going on, MMA fans? I'm back to do my UFC 91 Couture versus Lesnar predictions. Taking place this Saturday at 10 p.m., of course, on pay-per-view. Solid card top to bottom. Going to work my way from the bottom of the main card all the way to the top. First fight of the night, Nate Corey taking on Demian Maia. Nate Corey, of course, is a talented striker. Dangerous right and left hand. Has a decent ground game. Last two fights, Caleb Starnes and Pete Sell, of course, knocking Pete Sell out. When he fought Rich Franklin for the middleweight title, ended up, after the knockout loss, taking 2 years off, of course, to get the back surgery. Has come back very, very strong in the UFC. Taking on Demian Maia, who is a world-class ADCC grappler, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, ADCC champion. Had an amazing fight against Jason McDonald, one of the more technical fights of the year on the ground. Pure grappling match. Demian Maia ended up catching Jason McDonald, but in this fight, I think Demian Maia is going to be able to impose his will. He's improved in his stand-up. I think he'll be able to last for Corey, to be able to get him down to the ground, catch Corey in a very precarious position, get him in either an armbar or a rear naked choke. So I'm going to go with Demian Maia via a second-round submission. Next fight, Gabriel Gonzaga taking on Josh Hendricks. Gabriel Gonzaga, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, talented striker, dangerous right and left hand, dangerous right and left high kick. We saw his jiu-jitsu skills against Justin McCulley and Carmelo Marrero. We saw that right hand in, up to that point, the lackluster fight of the Kevin Jordan fight. And then Gonzaga threw that right hand and just completely decimated Jordan's face. And then the high kick knockout of Mirko Cro Cop. Taking on Josh Hendricks, who is a talented wrestler, has a jiu-jitsu background, has fought Sam Hoger in the past. I think Gabriel Gonzaga outclasses Hendricks in most facets of the MMA game. If this fight stays standing, Gonzaga's going to be able to impose his will. If the fight goes to the ground, I think Gonzaga's got the clear jiu-jitsu advantage, and I think he'd be able to catch Hendricks in a precarious position. So I'm going to go with Gabriel Gonzaga via a second-round TKO. Next fight, Amir Sadallah taking on Nick Catone. Amir Sadallah is a Sambo black belt, of course, coming from a kickboxing background. Beat CB Dollaway to win the Ultimate Fighter. Taking on Nick Catone, who is a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Talented wrestler, very good stand-up. I think this is a solid test for Amir Sadallah. I think this fight in the first round is going to go back and forth. Both guys are going to feel each other out. I think Amir is going to end up imposing his will, and I think he's going to end up winning a late second round, early third round stoppage. So I'm going to go with Amir Sadallah via a third round TKO. Next fight, Kenny Florian taking on Joe Stevenson. Kenny Florian, of course, coming from the Muay Thai background, having the black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, has really improved on his wrestling. Has looked so much better since his fight with Sean Shirk, losing the lightweight championship, beating Mishima, Alvin Robinson, Team Thomas, Joe Lozon, and of course most recently Roger Huerta. Taking on Joe Stevenson, who has just recently earned his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Very good grappler, dangerous guillotine chokes. Has improved on his stand-up. Last fight, of course, fighting Gleison Tibau, winning via the submission. Fought BJ Penn, Kurt Pellegrino, Melvin Gillard. The list goes on. This fight's going to be back and forth. I think both guys are going to win a round. I think Joe Stevenson will be able to, at some points of this fight, get some takedowns, impose his will a little bit. I also think Kenny Florian, at some points of this fight, is going to be able to impose his will. Be elusive, use leg kicks, use his solid stand-up. If the fight goes to the ground, be able to maneuver in and out, buck his hips, sweep, do what he has to do, use the skills that he's improved so much on in his wrestling. This fight comes down to who's going to be able to impose their will on the other, who's going to be able to be more elusive, and I think it's going to be Kenny Florian. So I'm going to have to take Kenny Florian via a judge's decision, a very close judge's decision at that. I think this fight's going to be back and forth. But I think Kenny's going to do enough to outpoint Joe Stevenson and win this fight. So I'm going to go Kenny Florian via a judge's decision. Next fight, main event, Randy Couture taking on Brock Lesnar. An awesome fight. Randy Couture, of course, one of the most methodical guys in MMA, has some of the best game plans. Great Greco-Roman wrestling. Very dangerous in the clinch. Has excellent dirty boxing. good hands, good takedowns, good submission game. He has underrated submissions. We saw his beautiful Anaconda choke against Mike Van Arsdale. Has fought Gabriel Gonzaga, Tim Sylvia, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, Pedro Hizzo, Kevin Randleman, Josh Barnett, the list goes on. Taking on Brock Lesnar, who is a NCAA Division I champ, fought in the WWE, of course, beat Heath Herring via the decision, lost to Frank Mir via the leg lock, toe hold, whichever you prefer to call it, and then beating Min Soo Kim in K1. This fight comes down to who's going to impose their will on the other, and I've gone back and forth on this fight. I always hate betting against Randy Couture. I did it in the Gabriel Gonzaga fight. I did it in the Tim Sylvia fight. But nonetheless, in this fight, Randy can win this fight. Randy can win this fight. If he is elusive, if he sticks in and out, does not allow Lesnar to come forward, to impose his will, Couture can win this fight. But there are not very many guys in this division that can stop Lesnar's takedowns, and I think that will be the difference in this fight, is that Lesnar is just, his takedowns are unbelievable. I think that he'll be able to get Randy down. I think that he'll be able to impose his will. I think that he'll be able to control position, and that at times that he's not able to control position, he'll be able to get Randy either back into a precarious position or get him back down to the ground. So I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar via a unanimous decision. I think he'll win 3 out of the 5 rounds. I hope Randy proves me wrong, because this is a fight that Randy can win. But, like I said, I think this is a very tough test for him. He has not done so well in the past against wrestlers, big wrestlers at that. This is one of his weaknesses. So we'll see if he's able to come out of that underdog role and prove everybody wrong. It'd be amazing to see that once again. But nonetheless, I will be back the night of or the night after to do my review video for this event. And on that note, you guys have a great day.